YouTube streets. Good morning, everyone. This is your home girl, Arabia Barbosa, 914 Westchester County, New York. Yeah, we still down here in South Carolina. Yo, shout out to the chat. Yo, uh, I don't know if anybody else has read the reports or have seen the social media postings about Queen Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of Louis Farrakhan, 90 years old, passed away. Well, the Nation of Islam has went under a lot of changes for the last few years. The Nation of Islam has went under a lot of changes over the last few years. I would say 20, 30, 40 years. There's been a lot of change within the Nation of Islam. A lot of the changes occurred right after Elijah Muhammad passed away during the 1970s. So, you know, Sister Khadijah, she was 90 years old. She was married to Louis Farrakhan for many, many years. They have children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. And, we send our condolences to the family and to the minister, Louis Farrakhan. So it is a lot of stuff happening within the nation. A lot of the followers that was under Malcolm X, most of them are they're up there in age. They're up there in age. If they're not up there in age, they have already passed away. A lot of the pioneers have passed away. The Nation of Islam has always been a part of the black community for many, many years. So it is a very sad day for the members of the Nation of Islam. And this should give everybody the incentive to join together, unite together under one umbrella. It is necessary more now than it ever was during the 50s, 60s, or 40s. You know what I mean? Word. So it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. I don't know who went live last night because I went to bed early. So whoever went live, I'm going to have to catch the replay. So it is what it is. I just posted a few short videos on my channels. I got 2 channels. Shout out to Kobe Knows for subscribing to the secondary channel. I appreciate you. Kobe Knows has been a subscriber for years now. I guess around the time Brown Skin Lady started going live. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. So it is what it is. I don't have anything negative to say about the Nation of Islam. We all know what happened to Malcolm X. The file on that was reopened a couple of years ago. We know what the family of Malcolm X is doing concerning the murder of their father. And we know that the United States government was behind it, just like we know the government is behind a lot of, things that have happened to different groups that was started by black people in this country. And I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. I'm talking about the Pan-Africanist movement, that everyone that was under Marcus Garvey, because this new school of Africanism, I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. But, it is what it is. We got a lot of changes going on in the Black community. We got a lot of changes going on. So it is what it is. Me personally, that's how I got my first name. My first name is Arabia. It is my government name. It is on my birth certificate. My mother, my biological mother, was a registered member with the Nation of Islam from 1968 until 1974. So she was a member for a few years, And I got other relatives who either were members of the Nation of Islam or they're 5%ers now. Some of them are, the 5%ers are known as the Poor Righteous Teachers, but that is how I received my birth-given name, Arabia. A lot of you don't know that. Some of you do. Some of you do. Some of you do know the story about me and my mother and about the relation I have with her, which is non-existent now. Because, when you find out the truth about people, not what they want to give you, not the story they want to give you, but when you find out the truth about people, you have to take notice and you have to move on. And, I would say that was a very difficult time in my life when I did find out the truth concerning my birth, my existence, how I came to be here, who named me, who idea was it to give me the first name, Arabia. My name was actually supposed to have been Saudi Arabia. But back then, we had a lot of racist nurses. We had a lot of racist people working in the hospital system, and they felt that a lot of Black children that were born in this country should be given European names. It's bad enough that my last name is a European name. My last name, Barbosa, that is the family name. It is from Portuguese origins because my great-grandfather was Portuguese. And a lot of my family that moved from Cape Verde before 1928, they came to this country and they did not list on the papers that they were Black. They listed on the papers that they were Portuguese. So shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. I think I've told that story before about my great-grandfather. I'm still looking for pictures concerning him so I can show the rest of you what he actually looked like. But I've seen pictures of him, and the man did not look Black. The man looked very much a Caucasian. He looked very much European, but he was not Caucasian, not at all. He is what you would call a mulatto Creole. And when he came to this country, he did not make it his prime goal to befriend other Black men. He didn't find it necessary. And he spoke other languages other than the Creole that came from the Cape Verdean Islands. He spoke Portuguese, he spoke Spanish, he spoke Italian, he spoke German. So he spoke different languages. But when he came to this country years ago, before my grandmother was born, he made it a point not to befriend other Black men. He befriended men that were of the Italian persuasion, so to speak. And there's a lot of history behind all of that, but I don't have enough time to really go over it this morning. But shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. But yeah, that's how I got my name, because my mother was a registered Muslim with the Nation of Islam. So it is what it is. So, and we've had a lot of changes with that particular group over the last couple of years. That's how Clarence 13X, everyone was under Elijah Muhammad at one time or another. Everyone was under Elijah Muhammad one way or another. Like Dr. York, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Clarence 13X. But Clarence 13X was the only one that I knew that actually stuck to the lessons that were given when he was with the Nation of Islam. Ben Yahweh, he changed up a lot of the lessons. It's the same thing as Dr. York. And they did that to what? To do what? To manipulate their people. That's what they did. Because Ben Yahweh, even though he wanted to do something good, his group became a cult. Just the same thing as Dr. York's people. They became a cult. A living, breathing cult. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. But yeah, that's how I got my name. Now, the last name Barbosa, that is my grandmother's maiden name before she married the dude that she married. And his last name was Smith. Lantries Charles Smith. He was a World War II veteran. He served in the Navy during World War II. He came back home. He started working for the city. And eventually, as time went on, the family grew. His children grew up. They became involved with people. And my father happened to come upon a young woman. She came from South Carolina, and she was pregnant. She was pregnant with another man's child. She gave birth to that child, and then she proceeded to have children with my father. There's only two of us from that woman, from that union. There is another sibling I have. He is a half sibling. He's still living in New York. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. So it is what it is. But yeah, the Nation has gone under a lot of changes over the last few years. And a lot of the OGs, a lot of the pioneers are no longer here. They're no longer here. Everyone talks about Elijah Muhammad, but nobody really mentions too much about Clara Muhammad, Sister Clara Muhammad, or should I say Mother Clara Muhammad. A lot of people talk about Clarence 13X, but very few people actually mention his wife. Her name was what? Dora Smith. She became Dora X when she joined up with the Nation of Islam. She introduced her husband to the Nation of Islam. Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of Louis Farrakhan, she has always been loyal to her husband and to her family and to the nation. And it was not easy for her to do that. A lot of people don't talk about the struggles that the women go through who aren't part of the Nation of Islam, because if it wasn't for the women, I don't think the Nation of Islam would have went as far as it did, or any group, any religious organization, any political party. Women, you are the backbone. You are the cornerstone. You know it, and I know it. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. We're getting ready to end this video. I hope everyone has an awesome work week. I hope your weekend was wonderful. And it is what it is.